Thank you so much. And after the interesting questions, maybe a little bit more boring, things to discuss. But thank you, Samir, for setting up the stage so well for what I am to follow up with. And a lot of the things that he spoke about, you'll find resonance even in the discussion that we have today. I just wanted to start with this. I think all of us have seen this map and all of the facts around it, but India is going to have 1 billion internet users by the year 2030. We are going to be the third largest country by GDP in the next 7 to 8 years. And 50% of the population is actually below 25 years. And that's what really makes this country special. What does this mean is that a lot of these consumers who are below the age of 25, with this 1 billion internet population, a lot of businesses will get digitized, a lot of consumers will get digitized, a lot of consumers will be actually digital first, and a lot of brands will get digitized in this journey. There is a huge base of large consumers who are internet literate, who are upwardly mobile, and who are looking to build their lifestyles with the aspirations that they see with the global trends around them. And therefore, there is a lot of adoption of global trends that will happen over the years. And finally, the demand that we see of all of the brands, of all of the categories, is not just restricted to the top metros in the country, but it is spread across in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, which means that growth is actually very fundamental and has a large opportunity to keep growing over the next few years. So this is what India is about: 1 billion internet shoppers, internet users actually, and a lot of them, like Samir said, everyone's to the race of looking at the next 200, next 400 million shoppers for this 1 billion users to convert into shoppers. A little bit about fashion e-commerce and what is really happening in the fashion e-commerce space. The last 2 years have been transformational for e-commerce in general, and fashion has not been an exception to that trend. We have seen a rapid transformation. Today, if you look at it, the fashion e-commerce space is around $8 to $10 billion is the size of the market. This is poised to grow at around 30 to 35% to reach a $26 to $30 billion market. What this actually means is that today around 10 to 12% of businesses get contribution. The contribution of e-commerce to most of the fashion businesses today is 10 to 12%. This will grow to close to 30%, which means that almost 1/3 of fashion in India in the next 5 years will be sold online or through digital platforms. And like Samir said, what this means is that no longer is there one channel versus the other channel. All channels will have to coexist. There will have to be a collaboration, a coexistence, and actually a very, very symbiotic relationship between different channels, which includes offline, digital, but also social media coming into the foray to be able to drive this digital transformation. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from this slide, that as businesses, as fashion retail digitizes and it reaches a scale of 30% being digital sales, all channels will coexist and will coexist in a very, very, in a symbiotic relationship for each of the channels to grow and each of the channels to contribute in a meaningful way. We spoke about, the 1 billion internet users in the country by the year 2030. Fashion will also see a growth in the number of consumers who are shopping fashion online. Today or last year, the number was close to 120 million. This will grow by 3 times, and this will reach around 300 to 350 million. A lot of these consumers are actually going to be millennials and Gen Zs. If I look around the room, a lot of us may not understand the Gen Zs as much as we think we do. But those are the consumers who will fuel the growth in the coming years. And it's very important to understand who these consumers are and what is really driving their preferences and their choices, because the millennials and Gen Zs are going to really drive consumption in the years to come, to go forward, and especially digital consumption of fashion and other goods also. A lot of these shoppers are also going to be first-time online shoppers. Their first shopping experience will actually be an online shopping experience. So that's also something to remember about these shoppers. Going a little deeper into who this Gen Z shopper is really. They are globally connected and aware. They spend more than 8 hours. I think 8 hours is maybe an underestimation of the time that is spent by these consumers online. But at least 8 hours is what is spent online. I think these consumers are aware of global brands. They are also very, very aware of new upcoming digitally native first brands and are willing to try out. Their ability to try or their willingness to try new brands is very, very high. I think what is very, very significantly different about these consumers are that they want to associate with brands who also talk to their own value system. So a lot of the brands which are resonating with their value systems are brands that they want to associate with. Finally, when you talk to the youngsters today, a lot of them don't resonate as much with film stars or with a lot of the celebrities that were the mainstay in the past few years. But for them, influencers, the digital influencers are the true influencers from them. They take inspiration from them. They are, they see themselves in those influencers, and they want to get inspired by those influencers. I think the final thing which is very important about these consumers are that these consumers don't want to copy a trend. They don't want to follow a trend blindly, but they want to do things which are, they want to own what they buy, they want to own what they wear, and they want to create their own unique style. So they are not following a trend. They are not following, they're not following the crowd blindly, but they're creating their own space, and they are wanting to create opportunities for themselves to express themselves through fashion, especially. I wanted to go a little bit deeper into what's really changing in the fashion landscape across the country, and take a few minutes to take all of us through those changes in the fashion landscape. I think the first thing which has emerged over the last few years, to start off with, India is a country which is a brand under-penetrated country. So we have lesser brands per capita consumption than what is available probably in the Southeast Asian countries or even in the West. And what that means today is that with this digitally native consumer who is looking at a lot of global trends and who is exposed to a lot of brands through social media, there is a proliferation of brands that is coming into the country to be able to build their brand base with these consumers, but also be successful across both online and offline in India, and use the next 7 to 8 years to really establish themselves very, very deeply in the country. There is a lot of work that is happening around not only bringing new brands in the country, and if you look at the slate of brands that are here on the slide, there are brands like Zalora, which are retail first brands in Southeast Asia, but also international brands like Naked, etc. Along with these international brands, there is a increasing element of building Indian D2C brands which are homegrown. So if you look at the slide again, Sugar, Masaba, these are all brands which are Indian grown and which are doing very, very well because the digital consumers are willing to adapt not only the global brands, but also try out the local authentic Indian brands which are, which are addressing need states for them. I think brands are also taking the opportunity to not just, create specialized capsules for India, which are, rooted in the Indian culture. Brands like H&M, etc., have done that very well in the past by collaborating with designers like Sabyasachi. So there is a lot of work that happens in creating capsules which are rooted in Indian culture and really making themselves a part of the Indian ethos. And finally, I think what is very, very important, which, as Myntra and as a lot of the brand partners that we work with, as Indian fashion industry is going to get digitized, brands are not just going to be built offline. They're not just going to be built through, mainstream advertising, but they are going to be built online. And the two big avenues that brands do see to explore in this brand building journey, one is social media and the digital influencer creator ecosystem, and how do you use that ecosystem, but also the flagship brand experiences in the form of original brand stores that retail platforms like Myntra provide to be able to create flagship brand experiences. And that's what really brands are looking to do in the country as they go forward. I think the second thing is that beauty and fashion are truly coming together. So beauty is an extension of fashion, and all of the trends that fashion saw, beauty is seeing the same over the next few years, where beauty is about fashion, it is about expert advice, it is about being personalized. inclusive and ethical. So a lot of consumers are looking at brands which are inclusive and ethical. And finally, again, I think what is the exotic newness which brands can provide through capsules, through new launches, that excitement is what consumers are looking for. If you look at what, as a platform, we have been trying to do to be able to capture on all of these trends, is first of all, create a platform for consumers and brands to talk to each other through conscious beauty platforms. Again, celeb-led beauty trends, celeb-led beauty engagements are very, very big. And these celebs are not just the film stars of the past, but founders themselves are celebs today who talk about their brands. And also, like I said, the creator ecosystem, the influencers, which are really, really driving the conversation around beauty in a very, very big way. And finally, beauty is global. There are D2C brands which are talking to Indians about their skin types, about their choices, but also a very, very big adoption of global brands. So beauty is truly global, and consumers are taking to this trend by the droves. Social commerce, I think I spoke about that, but it deserves a slide of its own. Today, I think Samir also mentioned the point that there is a convergence of retail and entertainment. And that's what is truly happening, that consumers are not looking for one platform to only transact or get inspired, but they want a confluence of that platforms to happen. And therefore, they want conversations which are inspirational and engaging. They want experts to talk to them about fashion and trends and things that they don't understand very well, immersive experiences, and finally, a very, very interactive engagement that happens during live conversations where consumers and the creators are actually talking to each other during that live conversation. Myntra has been able to create the first social commerce platform in the country through Myntra Live, which is live commerce that happens. Around 40 shows happen every day. Every hour there is a show, actually 2 shows now. And all of the content is shoppable. So you see a live video of an influencer and you can shop content. And we also have end-to-end shoppable content through Myntra Studio, which is part of the entire shopping journey of the consumer and not just a different experience that the consumer needs to go through. This is something which helps brands understand the consumers better, engage with them better, and consumers also build a relationship that is end-to-end, not just transactional, but driven by engagement and influencing and inspiration. So this is a big trend to watch out for, and brands across the board are really, really looking at this opportunity to engage with consumers. I think I spoke about this. Consumers, especially the Gen Z consumers and the and the millennials, are looking to connect with brands that appeal to their value system. Samir spoke about consumers also questioning retailers on how returns are managed. If you go to any European e-commerce website, the comments on the advertising is actually about how do you manage your returns. So that's how conscious consumers are about wanting to understand how are returns managed and how are brands and platforms actually walking the talk with the with social consciousness and causes that they believe in and support. 70% of the Gen Z consumers want brands to collaborate with local artisans. They prefer buying sustainable choices, and they believe that companies, they will hold us accountable for being more sustainable. So I don't think it will become a good to do thing, but it will become a necessity over the next few years because consumers will demand this of us. Again, I think, as Myntra, we've been able to, create the first platform where we have 100% plastic-free packaging for all of the products that we ship. But along with that, I think working with artisans through a brand called Tavi, we have Myntra for Earth, which is our in-house property where we help brands and consumers connect with sustainably and eco-conscious choices. 2 of our 5 warehouses are solar-powered, and the Better Cotton Initiative, which is something that globally all brands drive. Finally, like I said, experience is not about just a transaction anymore. It is engagement and relationship, and it is a complete engagement flywheel that starts with inspiration through social commerce and the creator economy. giving a very, very intuitive experience to consumers. So for example, for beauty, you help consumers with a virtual try-on rather than just helping them choose shades of lipsticks, allowing them easy discovery of brands through properties like Myntra Mall. Omni-channel is something that I'll talk about in the next few slides also, but really connecting offline and online in a very seamless way and giving the best to consumers is something that is very, very important in today's day and age. And finally, building long-lasting relationships through programs which are allowing your high-value customers to build a higher retention and a lifetime value with you over a period of time. How do we enable this paradigm shift? Very quickly, technology is at the heart of everything. As we go forward in making these changes really come alive, the biggest thing that will be our enabler in this journey will be technology. And technology starts across the flywheel from sourcing itself. How do we create a better design planning platform, trend spotting, and sourcing and assortment planning? We spoke about at the storefront, or whether it is virtual or whether it is offline, how do we create an interactive, intuitive experience for consumers which is digitally powered, enabling brand partners to engage with their customers in a very, very meaningful way. So whether it is about flagship brand experiences, insights that are provided by retail platforms like us, or even services which are around cataloging, omni-channel services and logistics services that platforms like ours provide. Warehousing, we spoke about supply chain, and the joke is that if somebody asks a single person, why are you single? The answer is because of global supply chain problems. So that's how big supply chain problems are and how prevalent they are. And that's what we kind of come in and help. Delivery, again, delivery optimization, route optimization, and fraud detection. So these are all of the areas where technology really helps. Omni-channel, just a very small introduction into how technology really enables omni-channel. I think bridging the gap between selection, offline and online, providing speed to consumers, and actually, I think overall providing an end-to-end visibility of inventory across the ecosystem. And how do you leverage that inventory across different stores? How do you allow different stores to actually be able to participate in driving their throughputs through an omni-channel service is something that platforms should be building towards as we go forward. Myntra, has 350 brands at around 3,000 stores, 1.5 lakh styles which are enabled through omni-channel. And all of these things, whether it's speed, inventory planning, and assortment, are coming through the omni-channel initiative that is there. Finally, I think the role of a platform like Myntra is actually, or any platform that we work with today, is actually to strengthen the ecosystem. I think we cannot exist on our own. And the job of all platforms is to use technology, use collaboration, and use partnerships to play the role of an enabler, really. Again, like I spoke about Tavi, a brand which supports around 10,000 artisans. We also work with around 25,000 Kirana partners, which are called Mensa partners, to enable our last mile deliveries. And finally, I think, building an ecosystem where we are able to provide employment across the ecosystem in a sustainable manner. So that really is the role of a platform, using technology to really be a true enabler for the ecosystem and grow with the ecosystem and not just go individually. So that really is, the job of a lot of our technology partners as we go forward in building this ecosystem and really consuming these trends and building for these trends. That was all from my end today, and looking forward to the journeys that each one of us take in this journey of digitization and how we build for the future. Thank you.